with this Death Prophet pickup, they're just going to play good Dota. I think Undying are trying to get as solid a lineup as possible. With this DP, you're going to be able to march down those towers. And the Pango is able to sort of push off a lot of heroes, but Death Prophet is almost the exception. You're always going to have those ghosts going, whether or not you are getting that proc from the swashbuckle, so it doesn't really matter. But that's when two-base need to find the punish. That's when Monkeys needs to get his level 6 in a good amount of time so you can find those easy punishments. Because similar to Leshrac, Death Prophet will just run at your towers. You can almost guarantee it, and that's something that you can definitely play around if you're two-based.
Right. To a certain extent, maybe double-edged sword. Undying are going to have a lot in the way of sort of pushing power and maybe early aggression with the Bat Rider, but if two-base can work around that, they know exactly where Undying will want to be grouping up, where they're going to want to push. So, as you said, if the Pango can get some levels up early, if that TA is good on the farm in the first maybe 10 to 15 minutes, then they know exactly where their opponents will be. Maybe they could put together some sort of fight to take momentum, but now Undying going in there with the Faceless Void pickup. Not a crazy amount of sort of, I'd say, follow-up inside of the Chrono. Maybe the DP can sort of throw some stuff in there. I suppose the Bat could throw the Flame Break in and start getting the Napalm stacks up, but even without direct follow-up, that Faceless Void is still going to be a bit of a problem for two-base to deal with in these fights.
And it's a very good lane versus the Pango. He always has to use that swashbuckle to get those ranged creeps. You only have one spell, so you're always able to sort of shrug it off. But at the same time, they're sort of questioning two-base lineup, saying, will you have enough damage to kill our Void? We know you don't have really that much damage yet. You have an Omni Knight, you have a Techies, you don't have the best situation to take down this Void. So there could be a situation where Tomato, it's not the Wraith King, and we do see them banning out the Wraith King now, but this is a hero that we've seen get to that 3,000, 4,000 HP pool if the game does go long enough. And it feels like if you do end up in that 45, 50-minute game, if you're the team that has the Faceless Void, very rarely do you lose. Because you get that Aghanim Scepter, you get that Refresher, those tier 3 Roche items just feel so good on the hero. And you're just incredibly tanky, you're incredibly obnoxious, especially with the Shard. And it feels like if you're not able to kill him, and that's the call that Undying are definitely making, then you are always going to have a pretty big hole in your lineup.
Yeah, and you said Undying, we're sort of basically daring Simply two-based, asking them, do you have the damage? Right now, that's very much unclear. The TA is certainly going to hit hard. The Pangolier has potential to turn into a damage dealer later on down the line, but as you said, if we get into that sort of ultra late game stage and the Faceless Void is as big as we have seen him in the past, that may not be enough. So, very much interested in what two-base go in for here with the final pick for themselves. We're still sort of wondering about that Templar Assassin. It has shaded much more towards the carry position than the middle lane in recent times, and obviously, if it goes mid here, it's going to be up against the Bat Rider, and that just doesn't sound like fun. So, very much looking like a Boris hero there, but that leaves us with a question mark in that middle lane for Simply two-based. So, we'll see what it is they want to go for here. Undying, though, we're operating under the assumption that the TA was still, or at least somebody on two-base was still heading mid. They banned out carries in Phase 3, so they're not necessarily buying into Boris on this TA just yet.
And it really is just because they want to get that flexibility out there, and this is just how Undying like the draft. You have heroes that are going to feel good versus our heroes, so we take them out, plain and simple. And now you've got the Saberlight Darkseer. This is sort of a soft counter pick if they do want to send that TA to the safe lane, because while you're able to nuke down those waves pretty fast, you get that double Ion Shell, you've got the Nyx Assassin. If you get caught up in the waves, if Boris does end up on this TA, Darkseer is one of the few heroes that does feel like you can sort of just kill her outright. And at the same time, having the Vacuum versus the Techies, you just want as many big disables as possible. And while you do have that Guardian Angel coming out from what I assume is going to be Jubei playing it, you're still going to be stuck in the wall. You're still going to be very slow. So it's a very scary lineup that we've sort of bound ourselves into. And I'm guessing with the win, that's going to be, that's going to be Ionized Hero. So Boris is going to be playing that TA.
All right. Meanwhile, pulling the odds up here real quick. Undying, favored for map 1. That was sort of before the draft even came out. So I think those odds, if you were to update them, would be a little bit... Hold up.
Jubei is going to be on the Techies, too.
Okay,
and
that's a bit of a switch.
Okay, it sort of makes sense, I guess. I've seen him play it so many times on stream. Maybe he really is the specialist. I'm sure Flea could pull it off, but they're valuing him on that Pango just a little bit more. And that just means he's going to be even more crucial, not having as much farm as what I'm assuming is now going to be the Monkeys Forever Omni Knight. Oh, no, they're flipping it up again. It is just going to be a 4 Omni. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right. I mean, fair enough. At the end of the day, like, they're going to play... Excuse me, they're going to play similar roles regardless of whether it was Flea or Jubei on those two heroes, but slightly different from what we were expecting. But I don't know. For two-based here, it's a neat draft. I like seeing a little bit of extra creativity here, but I just don't know really how effective it's going to be. The Techies and the Omni Knight are massive question marks for them in terms of how much damage, how much control they bring to the table, and whether or not the Omni can actually keep teammates alive. If he can do so, then maybe two-base can do something here. Maybe they've got enough damage to sort of work their way through those cores on the Undying side, but it's really kind of hard to tell at the moment.
And it really is going to be a waiting game. It's really hard to call just because everybody is gonna kind of farm this game. You did pick up that win to lane something versus the Brawl Batrider, and it really did feel like Undying, even though they don't have that ultimate aspect, they were really in the hot seat of this draft. They were really pushing around two-base, which makes sense because they do have first pick, but still, we've got a Techies on the field. Anything can happen. Let's play some Dota.
Yeah, let's play some Dota. It's not going to be normal Dota because there's a Techies involved, but it's going to look something like Dota, that's for sure. But game one of the day, we've got a Techies pick. I mean, it's going to be fun no matter what. We'll see just how well things play out for them, though. If they win with this Techies against Undying, who, as you sort of pointed out previously, have to be probably the top seed in this event. Maybe Four Zoomers are kind of there with them, but they're either 1 or 2 in this situation. If you pull off a Techies play and win, that's sort of going to be two-based, basically calling card throughout the entire rest of this tournament. No matter what happens after that, they can say, yeah, well, we won a Techies game against Undying, so who cares?
And we'll hear the laugh constantly, all game. Nothing you can do about it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's just going to be coming out. There, as you said, there's no stopping it, especially with this sort of funky lineup that they've gone for. They know this is very strange, and they're just going to sort of lean fully into it. In fact, you see Jubei still sort of hanging out in between the lanes here, so he's not entirely sure where he wants to go, although this is a bit of a weird one. Jubei... Oh, never mind. Excuse me. This is not weird at all. He went for the boots first because he went for the blast off at level 1. So he's not looking to set down any mines right now. He wants to get in there for that maximum damage. So we'll see what kind of setup they can have. This is the only issue, though, or not the only issue, but a big issue. The Techies obviously going to look for that nuke damage, but there's not a whole lot of lockdown early on for this two-base lineup. So you don't have the cleanest setup for him to get in there for that blast off play.
And Omni Knight Techies is definitely not known to be it's not a combo. They don't have any synergy together, but with the blast off you're just aiming to go in, do your damage, run away. It only does 150 damage to yourself, so in very few situations are you going to sort of end up actually suiciding. I think you just cast it 3 times, then the third one most likely you are suiciding, having that fairy fire just in case. And we're gonna see actually the Techies and Monkeys laning together, so going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, that makes it maybe even more concerning about getting the actual setup for it, but who knows? They'll look for their moment. In the meantime, though, the Pango just going to try to lane up against that Faceless Void. As you mentioned, though, this is one where Monkeys is maybe going to have a little bit of difficulty. You mentioned in a lot of situations you end up having to sort of swashbuckle for that ranged creep, so if he's doing that on Monkeys, that doesn't give him the swashbuckle for for harassment, as they do go in onto Dubu. And it's a nice bit of damage, but it's not quite enough to get the kill, but it is at least going to sort of push that DP back, forces out the early salve. So, burning it through some resources, and in about 20 more seconds, Jubei might just be able to use the blast off again and get the suicide down.
And up until you maybe have that Orb of Corrosion on Monkeys, can you get a little bit more aggressive on Dubu, as we saw, but he has the salves, he has the Siphon. If they ever step out of line, that's when you need to be careful. And from Dubu, I'd really like to see that Silence coming out at level 2, just because you might break up the combo, and actually Monkeys Forever is going to get,
You just got to go
beat
for
up
the
a little
TP.
bit. Yeah, and he's got a salve, but it really does feel pretty bad. At least the wave is sort of coming in, but Tomato's just kept it all under control.
Yeah. Nice sort of, as you said, sort of equilibrium control here for the Faceless. He's farming up pretty well as well. 7 and 2. No significant pressure put onto him. I think he got clipped by maybe one swashbuckle right at the very start of the lane, but since then, it has been incredibly quiet in his lane. Meanwhile, Jubei, looking for a bit of a rotation towards the middle lane. He's going to stand guard over this water rune, so we'll see if Annihilate pushes his way over. He doesn't actually have the bottle yet, though, so it would just be the straight-up regen, and yeah, Jubei's just going to take it. So, without the bottle, there's really not much reason for him to directly hold that for his teammate, as Jubei will begin to make his way back up top, but at least they keep one of those water runes out of Undying's hands. That's got to count for something.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, it is really difficult for Annihilate to sort of contest. Brow's gone for that flame break at level 3, I believe, so he is just going to be incredibly annoying. He's probably going to pick up that Firefly at level 4, and then Annihilate does need to be careful. Windrunner is not known for... yeah, Juba denied himself top.
Boris, you're in some trouble here. In the tree line, the Ion Shells are tracking him down, and he might just die. Moonmeander needs maybe one more hit, but he's not going to get it. Salve will be canceled, though, and the creeps do actually finish Boris off. Now Flea. He's dead as well. Impale comes out from Moonmeander, and that one is also taken by the creeps. So both of the first 2 kills end up getting split, but that is 2 kills going Undying's way, while Jubei ended up suiciding up in that top lane.
And this is sort of the issue, and why I thought that maybe you put the Techies versus the Nyx Assassin, but you didn't want to have to deal with that Carapace. But you have this TA and a melee hero laning versus Darkseer Nyx. As soon as they get sort of any creep wave advantage, they're going to get really aggressive under tower. And once Saberlight hits level 5, that Ion Shell really just starts to burn you down. And they're just going to immediately they're just going to farm everything, to be honest. There's not much that Flea can do in this lane.
He's only got level 1 up in Purification as well. So yeah, he can't even come in there and try to nuke anybody down. So just a rough lane to this point. The TA is still farming, so Boris is making the most out of this situation. 25 last hits actually is pretty damn impressive, but an early death there, and as you said, once Saberlight starts getting up a few more levels, that Ion Shell spam is really going to start hurting to a much more significant degree, as Jubei actually sneaks a water rune out from under Bryle. That's a nifty play there. Bryle wanted to refill the bottle, but the Techies gets there first.
Well, and the Nyx Assassin is already set up, securing that bottom water rune, so it isn't the end of the world. But yeah, Jubei's had some pretty clean rotations, also stacking the Radiant Ancients as much as possible because he has that TA. Techie's one of the best stackers in the game. You just have, oh, top. Monkeys missed the swash.
The swashbuckle off the mark. He's slowed up by the dilation as well. Can they get him out of here? No, they can't. Dubu gets the kill. That mine, though, does explode. That's doing a nice bit of damage, but I don't think it's a no. Jubei is just going to stand on it.
Yeah.
Really not a whole lot more for him to do. Can Tomato hit this? Oh, okay, he hits the mine. That's probably the safer play, but now Dubu. Those are creeps. They hurt.
He's dead.
Okay. It's not the creeps you had to worry about. Jubei turns around for the right click. Now, can he get away from Tomato? Dilation is going to slow him up. He's looking for the deny. Nah, Tomato smacks him across the face, and that will be the Faceless Void getting the kill. So at the end of the day, it is a 2-for-1 trade in that top lane, but things got a little wacky there on the back end. As, honestly, Tomato very nearly went down. He was able to take down 2 of those mines, though, before they blew up in his face. His bottom lane. What is going on here? Boris pushed back under the tower. Flees in a bit of a bad way as well. Already used all of his spells, but neither Saberlight nor Moonmeander want to dive the tower entirely. Saberlight, very little in the way of HP and pretty much no mana. So they are eventually forced to pull back, but that is the kind of aggression that you kind of want to see from this lane. This duo is really doing their best to get in onto the TA. They haven't exactly shut Boris down, as we were mentioning earlier, but every little bit that they can do to try and get in onto him, or Flee for that matter, is potentially going to have an impact later on down the line.
And they do have to be incredibly cautious. While Boris does have a little bit of time where he will be able to farm up, and we see with Radiant TA, you do have a decent time because you have this medium camp just a little bit closer to you. But still, Saberlight is going to get farmed. He is going to get a lot of farm, and to a certain degree, you are going to struggle to come back to that lane. They aren't going to be able to get really any more aggressive on Flea unless he does step up incredibly far. And they're going to make an attempt, actually.
Surge gets him in. Where's the Impale? Will they go for it? Not quite yet. They're trying to hold as long as they can. Vacuum actually coming in first. There it is. The stun comes in. The Ion Shell damage is there. Saberlight will get the kill. So, well, to a certain extent, Flea wasn't really all that out of position, but that is just the benefit of the Surge. Moonmeander's just basically shoved into that fight, and at that point, there's really not a whole lot your Omni can do, especially considering he has no boots, so there's no way he was outrunning either of those heroes.
And he felt like he could stay with the wave that far up, just trying to leech a little bit of XP because he had that ward. He didn't know where Saberlight was, but very simply just TP's back, Now Sabrelight's going to stack for himself. He's really going to envelop his
Boris
lane.
caught
Yeah,
out in the jungle. Bryle hits him up with the lasso. This is unfortunate. That's a TA just trying to sort of bail out of the lane, looking for a little bit of extra farm, but that invis rune from Bryle just sets him up perfectly. Moonmander's just sort of patrolling around as he does on the Nyx Assassin, and that is a fantastic setup. They do finally get in onto that TA again. Second death here in the laning stage, and that one feels like a bit more of a setback. The kill in the lane a couple of minutes ago was kind of whatever. You can recover from that one, but this is the sort of dedicated farming time for the TA that now gets disrupted with that pickoff.
And it's that word, it's the framework that they laid down beforehand. I believe that was Moon as well, and I think Flea, oh, he missed the vacuum bottom, but he might just go down again here. There really isn't much to do.
He can't get out of that one. Impale comes through from Moon, and that is a level 3 Impale, so it does a fair bit of damage in and of itself, and not to mention the Ion Shells coming out to follow it up. So Flea will be taken down. Undying, 7 kills in 8 minutes, a 2k net worth lead for them, so they've been playing pretty aggressively. Really not across every single lane, mostly just this bottom situation, but it's working out pretty well for them so far, and now Jubei, oh, okay, he puts a mine up on the high ground. Moonmander can't really see it, but he can certainly hear it. Sort of.
Yeah, and there really isn't a good way for them to defend their heroes up until Monkeys does have that level 6, and he just got it top. Then we're going to need to see him get active on the Bat Rider and this bottom lane. Otherwise, Undying are just going to be able to make these small plays, farm up. And Boris, he's being really efficient. He is going to finally take that stack, so he will have his next sort of small item, Possessed Mask as well, so that feels pretty good.
That's a big pickup.
But unless he's able to really keep this farm going for a long time, he needs to get several items before he can really show up to these fights. Otherwise, Undying are just going to sort of beat you out in that team fight. It really is all on Monkey's shoulder.
He does appear right now on Boris to be going in for that early Dragonlance. We are seeing that sort of working its way into more and more TA builds. You go in for the sort of extra range and the stats as well. It does make you a little bit stronger as opposed to just the straight up Blink Deso build that we've seen in the past. So obviously the Blink and the Deso do still factor into the build. They're just pushed back a little bit more, and in most circumstances the stats and the attack range that you get sort of make up for the later timing on those sort of mobility and damage items. But at this point, we'll have to see. You see Undying already pushing their way in. They're looking for that tier 1 tower with Dubu's Exorcism. They will be able to get it. Now Dubu actually TP'd himself up top. They're looking for a jump in onto Monkeys. They get the silence down. Tomato has the Chrono. And there it is. Chrono Sphere will be deployed. The Exorcism Spirits are still coming in. The Siphon is there as well.
A little close. The bashes.
Can he get himself out? No. Dubu gets the kill there with the Siphon. I think the Crypt Storm was actually late. He didn't really need it, but he wasn't taking any chances. Monkeys will fall. And Undying continue to push forward. Moonmander's actually going to go looking for somebody here, but I don't really know if he can do this by himself, and his teammates seem to be a little too far away.
Bottom. Jubei's just gone.
Jubei will be taken down. Kill split between Bryle and Saberlight. They're going to get the tier 1 tower down there as well, so this is turning into a bit of a rough one. Undying doing exactly what we said they were going to do. They're pushing for early fights. They're pushing for towers off the back of those kills, and they're really just trying to shrink down the map, limit the farm Boris can get, and limit the impact that the Techies is going to be able to have as well. At this point, he really has a much smaller area that he can set up in, as Boris is going to get hit up by Moonmeander. Not able to take him down immediately, though, and now Moon just has to try and run away. He does have some wand charges, and that's going to be enough to keep him alive for now as Bryle pushes his way in, but Monkeys channels out the ult. Can they get in onto him? They need to be able to lock him down here, but he's flying his way up and down this sort of cliff area. Now Monkeys going to try to get onto Moon, but Moon dances his way around it. He's not hit just yet. And Monkeys, what does he have? He's got a Swashbuckle. That might just be enough damage to get the kill if he does want to commit for it. And, well, okay, he did get it. So Monkeys will find the kill, but they really did want the lockdown onto Bryle, but the Bat Rider just dodged out pretty much everything and walked away.
And it's a little bit unfortunate. If he had W, it would have been really easy for him to at least get one of the bounces off, but you had to be afraid of Bryle turning there, just trying to get away. He does have his boots of travel, and really all of the timings on Undying are really clean. They're really smooth. Getting that mid tower with the first exo, you've got another one up in 7 seconds, and yeah, they have to be careful going on Dubu top.
TOOBASED, they have walked into this trap. Monkeys is going to try to swashbuckle away. That leaves Flea vulnerable to attack, though, as they do take him down. Tomato now going to push forward with the time walk, but Jubei, okay, nice. Blast off onto 3. That's a pretty solid maneuver. They've taken down Tomato, and now all of a sudden, the teamfight strength of Undying sort of collapses, effectively, as Moon is, okay, he's going to get the kill. That is almost certainly going to cost him his own life, but he does at least find the pickoff. But now Bryle pushing in alongside Dubu. They actually don't want to go in any further. Annihilate does have the Javelin, but he's already used that Focus Fire. So at that point, they feel they really don't have what
Oh
they would
no,
need to keep the
Boris
fight
got him.
going. As Boris, is he going to get caught out? Yes, he is. Saberlight hits him up with the vac wall combo, and Boris cannot get himself away.
And he's doing exactly what he should be doing. He's trying to get the wave out. It would have been a lot of space, but Saberlight is also here, and you can't TP out. You know he's going to save the vacuum. And it looks like they did end up getting Dubu top. And Jube's been really clutch with these blast-offs. But at the same time, you can't help but feel that Undying, they have this Diffusal Blade on the Faceless Void. They have Chrono. When they want to go again, they really just are. This next roll coming out from Monkeys Forever is really going to be imperative. If he's able to slow down or shut down maybe the Bat Rider or the Nyx Assassin again, those are really the heroes making plays as of now in Undying, but still, they're getting a lot of speed on their slower heroes.
And Dubu going to TP his way top. There's no glyph here to defend this tower, however, so I feel like Dubu's going to need some help, but the help is coming. Making their way over through that north side jungle. They're smoked up. Tomato wants the Chrono. Will he be able to connect? Yes, he does. Only gets it onto Annihilate, but that's still a pretty big target that they will be able to bring down, and now they'll chase after the rest. Jube going to get hit up by that lasso. Monkeys Forever does come in with one hit from the Rolling Thunder, but it's not going to be enough to actually find any kills. And now Monkeys and Flea going to have to fall back. The Impale's off the mark for Moon Meander, but they're going to continue chasing. Do they go into the tree line? Yes, they do. Tomato, though, actually blocked off by those trees, but Monkeys is silenced up, and he really has nowhere left to go. He can try to swashbuckle away, but Bryle with the Firefly just doesn't care. He's going to continue to chase. Monkeys will be taken down. Flea now in some trouble. Boris, though, does TP in looking to help, but not really sure how much help he can actually provide. Flea will still fall, and Undying are going to be able to clean up pretty much everything before falling back.
They're in on the Bat Rider. Yeah,
Bryle, he's not getting out.
Bryle's gone.
Annihilate in there with the Focus Fire. Good play for the kill, as he will get a little bit of revenge, but is there anything else they can get here? Techies is going to TP onto the tier 1. Blastoff comes through. They connect with the Silence into that remote mine, but Power Shot's not quite enough. Moon Meander walks away, but another set of mines will take Tomato down. Good play from Jube. Really just trying to keep his team in this as Annihilate is pursuing another kill. He's going to get hit up by that Impale, but if he hits the Power Shot, I think he still has this kill. Not going to get it. He gets it onto Dubu, but that's not exactly the low health hero in that scenario. So Moon Meander walks away, but they get Bryle and they get Tomato. That's not bad considering the way that that fight started.
No, not bad at all. And Saberlight really didn't have an in as the tier 1 tower had already fallen, so there wasn't an easy way for him to get back to that fight. He does have an Aghanim Scepter now, so I can only imagine he's going to get a little bit more active out on the map, being the top net worth hero. But still, while you did find some nice return kills, the kill into Tomato really made that feel better than it ended up being. Jube is making sort of a fast pace towards that Aghanim Scepter, and once he has it, then Undying, they do need to be cautious. The Nyx Assassin and the Bat Rider aren't known to be the tankiest heroes, so there definitely needs to be some hesitance whenever the plays do come out. Oh, they're setting up on Annihilate.
He gets caught out top. That TP canceled. Shackle will buy him some time, but now with Bryle coming in, they're not going to be able to make this happen. Moon Meander pops that Spike Carapace, and Saberlight actually snags it with the Ion Shell he threw onto the Bat Rider. He's half the map away, but he'll take the kill, and now he's looking for a little bit more. They're chasing after Flea here in that middle lane. They pull him back in with the vacuum, but with Boris here and Jube sort of waiting in the wings, Undying realize we don't really want to push that much further forward, and in that situation, you're risking a lot for what would have been just a kill onto Flea's Omni. So they will back themselves away, but so too does Flea, sort of backing off here, and he's basically outrun his own support, and he's just going to be taken down. He did at least take down the Obs Ward, but he will give his own life for it.
And you do get the wall coming out from Saberlight, so isn't the worst case scenario, but Saberlight keeps getting these freebies, accelerating his own game, gonna get Greaves in a pretty fast fashion, and that's where TOOBASED, that's the question. Are you going to have enough damage to kill these heroes once the Greaves comes out? You see them all itemizing, fairly tanky, Bryle working on his BKB next, and that's the timing that TOOBASED are really gonna struggle to contend with. And Monkeys, while you do have that Blink Dagger, you are going to be able to hit at least 2 or 3 times guaranteed on the same hero. They're scouting him out. If he goes down again, this is going to be terrible for him.
Oh, Silence comes in to start it off. The Vendetta hit into the Impale. Nice attempt from Flea to heal that up, but it's not going to be enough. Monkey's is already dead. Jube's in some... Oh, nice. God! Okay, Jube with the bait. Gets the double. Moon and Bryle both taken down, so that's going to change the nature of this fight. All of a sudden, Annihilate and Boris, they're the ones on the attack. Yeah, where's the Shackle? He's trying to line it up. Not going to go for it just yet. That's a little bit strange, but they will go in for the Focus Fire. Dubu's going to be falling here, and Undying, they kind of forget that the Techies is there. They thought Jube was only coming in with that Blast-Off play, but baits them into those mines, and that really does change the entire dynamic of that fight. 4 for 2 trade in TOOBASED's favor, and now they're going to push the tier 1 off the back of this.
And really just simply too base, my friend. And this is something with some more established teams. Maybe you're not used to playing versus this techies, and Moonmeander, what have you done?
That just felt so bad as Moonmeander gets taken down. Tomato, though, pushing in with the Chrono, but there's Flea in with the Guardian Angel. I Annihilate, going to be surviving for now, but the Wind Run's not up for 5 more seconds, so he is in some serious trouble here. Tries for the Shackle, doesn't really work, but Undying don't want to push any further forward, so they are not going to be able to commit for that one fully. They didn't really have the lasso play there either, so they do just back themselves off. The problem is, you used Chrono there, and you get very little. They are going to push into the Roche Pit now, though, and with Dubu's Exorcism, they should be at least slightly covered. I don't know if TOOBASED are really going to be willing to try for this, but they are TPing heroes over. There is an ult up on Monkeys, so maybe they could make a move.
And I think they know just because the trap did fall, they could throw a mine in there. It is a little bit hard. If they can get him right now...
He's in on his own. Monkeys Forever is going to blink forward with the Rolling Thunder. This is big. As you said, Saberlight already taken down. Tomato's dropping low as well. Jubei, oh my god, Jubei, he stole it. Disaster after disaster for Undying here as Bryle's now on the run as well. The Shackle's going to lock him down, though. He's not going to be able to get himself out as Boris picks up the kill, and now Moon...
again,
yeah,
same spot.
It's just going to be a death in the exact same position once again. Flea, he's a little low on HP, but it's not going to matter with that many heroes around him to back him up. Boris grabs the triple. It's a full 5-man wipe, and Jubei took the Aegis, did immediately have to use it, but who cares? Undying don't get it.
And just perfect smoke, perfect play, perfect read on the situation, and again, they're finding the punishments. They're actually making these bounce back plays, and having used the Chrono onto the Wind, you weren't able to get her because he got that Wind run off last second, and you had that Omni Knight to cover, and it feels like TOOBASED are finally getting some speed underneath their wings. Now, Jubei has an Ags. He's going to be able to set up in these side lanes. Yeah, this is awful.
He's gone. Shackle comes in, focus fires there, and Undying just seemed to be sort of falling apart, and I absolutely cannot believe that we are saying this, but Jubei on this Techies is actually the single most valuable player in this game right now. Like, his plays have won his team, I think, 2 or 3 fights now in a row.
And that's the 3rd or 4th 3 or 4-man silence where he's continuing to cause the chaos, and they haven't really gotten those little items to deal with that yet.
I don't know about this one.
A little Rolling Thunder.
They're going to go for it. Maybe they can get Dubu, but Monkeys is going to have to bail out pretty quickly afterwards. Okay, yep, they do find the kill, and now Monkeys will try to get away, but he's going to get yoinked back in there by the vacuum, I believe, and that is going to be enough to take him down. So Saberlight will find the return kill, but now look at that Shackle. Perfectly placed by I Annihilate. Jubei comes in with the blast off. They'll take Moonmeander down, and Saberlight is silenced up, slowed down, and finished off as well. So, I mean, Monkeys gives his life, but that's going to be another fantastic trade. 3 for 1.
And really, 5 minutes ago, Undying, I felt like I had to praise them. They were being so clean with this Death Prophet. They were always getting an objective. They were playing around their cooldowns, and it just kept on working. But really, it was that first 3-man silence where you ended up killing Tomato, really, without him knowing. You dropped the gem now to Jubei. This is a terrible situation. And I think he drops the gem, yeah, just going to send it back to the base. Now the gem is out of your hands. It's going to be really hard for you to push onto any more of these outer towers. And it really feels like Techies is coming into full force. Ags is already up.
Yeah, the Ags is up. And I always do love that the Techies players, they just take those gems, they put them back in the fountain, they just sort of set themselves up a little trophy case of all the gems that they've taken away from the other side. So it's only 1 for now, but even a single gem is money ripped out of the hands of Undying, as Saberlight did sort of lose that one. But, well, Undying are going to try to push forward again. Moonmeander, though, does need to be careful here. They are going to throw down the sentry, but the mine does still go off. So Moonmeander is going to take the damage, but at this point, Flea is really the only person here to sort of respond to this. But now, well, Boris may actually be in a position to try and fight this one out. Does he want it, though? No. He's got the Blink, he's got the Deso. He probably could have tried for it. He actually has the Side Trap upgrade here as well. Didn't really talk about that when he first got it. So you have the silence coming out, not just from the blast off, but now from those traps as well. And Undying, they were working towards BKBs earlier on. Do they actually have any of them up? The Batrider has 1, and that's pretty much it. Darkseer has queued 1 up, but Saberlight obviously hasn't made too much progress on it so far.
And we'll see if he decides to finish off the Greaves or just really wants that BKB now sooner than later. And really, you have to be so careful if you're this Void. Now that the trap silence is there, you don't have anything to purge it off just yet. And I think with Tomato's item build, you see him queue up the Midas. You know that they've sort of missed their timing. They were either going to win this game in 27 minutes with that Aegis, or they're going to have to take it a little bit later. And this is what they've shown that they're very comfortable with as they've progressed through this tournament. The later the game goes versus Undying, it really does feel like they're just going to win it out. And that's why this Void is so strong. But TOOBASED, they also get to sort of lull into that late game situation with the techies, and Dooku's gone.
Yeah. Picked off in the river there. Do you want to point out for Tomato? Actually shifting it up a little bit. He's bailed out of that Midas play. He's going to go for the Manta instead. So the Manta active will allow him to sort of get rid of some or one of those silences.
Yeah. He must have clicked on Boris. It's just too obnoxious.
I mean, that is one of the things, though. He's sort of bailing out of it, as we mentioned. But Undying, of all the teams that we've seen here so far in this field, have been the one that I think have the best sort of double sentries, the best job of sort of transitioning in between the sort of phases of the game. When it goes mid to late, they've been able to handle that transition a little bit better than any of the other squads they've played against so far, and they are going to have to do the same here. But now Bryle, that's a bit too far forward, but BKB will bail him out, but yeah, Flea comes in, he's going to drop down that Grace, and Monkeys just walks away, so that's a tough one for the bat. You got to know that that's going to be there. He didn't really account for Flea's location when he went in, and that's a bust on the lasso play, and that's a BKB charge used as well. That's the full 9 seconds that is now gone.
And really, up until Moon, maybe we see him get a Blink Dagger, maybe we see some sort of itemization. Besides getting surged in, Tomato really rely heavily, or Undying really rely heavily on Tomato to find these chronos, but usually he likes to wait for that fight to devolve a little bit. He likes to find the heroes that have already expended their spells, their BKBs, their refractions, and to that degree, his openings are becoming less. He's finding it more and more difficult to get onto these sort of backline heroes, and with a Blink Dagger on the Omni, they have so much mobility on the side of TOOBASED, they can really do whatever they want. And Boris does need to be careful, but yeah, he's not going to let himself get caught. They're playing really measured right now on the TOOBASED side, even though Undying are sort of clawing back that gold lead.
Yeah, they are starting to farm up a little bit more on some of those Undying heroes, so it is a slight point of concern for the TOOBASED heroes, but I don't really think that they should really take any sort of drastic action at this point. They've been winning so far because of the fact that they're patient. Just like that, they cut Dubu out in the middle lane just a little bit too far forward. Annihilate's able to push in, but now do need to be careful of the... Oh, okay, don't need to be careful of much of anything. Good shackle in onto 2. Monkeys is going to roll his way in as well. Tomato does throw down the Chrono, though, but at this point, who can he kill? Neither one of these two heroes are really going down just yet. The Guardian Angel is even going to be deployed. Boris, though, is still dropping, and he does actually end up going down in the end. So they've got 1 kill. They're going to need more. They're going to try and track down Jubei. They've got him silenced up for the time being. Crypt Swarm, though, doesn't actually connect, and Annihilate in with the shackle once again. Ryle's going to get taken down. Oh, boy. But now, okay, Annihilate, you got to get out. Flea's going to be able to heal him up, but there's going to be the vacuum pulling them all back in. Monkeys, though, rolls up. He's going to continue trying to sort of hit him up here with that Swashbuckle, and that actually procs onto pretty much everyone. The lucky shot, very lucky indeed. Annihilate in with another shackle, and that might just be enough to get him out of trouble. His teammate, though, is still on the run. Moon Meander pushes in for the Impale. They're going to be able to connect onto the Pango, and I do believe Monkeys will be taken down. Dubu's going to get that kill, so they take down both Monkeys Forever and Boris, but what's going on here? Annihilate, he's running out of backup. At this point, I think it's probably best for him to just get away, but he's going to pop the BKB, going in for the shackle, looking for Tomato. Manta, though, will get Tomato out of the initial sort of lockdown, but he's still dropping low, and Annihilate gets the kill.
And I think he will trade himself out here unless Flea's able to...
Flea pulled in by the vacuum as well, so Undying do finish off a very, very delayed 5-man wipe, but it is still a wipe. They do have to give up quite a bit themselves, but you look at that gold, 3K in their hands at the end of the day, and about twice the experience. So it wasn't clean, and it didn't really look pretty at pretty much every single point of it, but they do get the win.
And it just felt like that fight did drag on a little bit longer than they wanted to, and while they were able to kill Tomato again, he got so greedy with the time lock. He was trying to maybe call the power shot so that way he was able to escape, but again, they got dragged out a little bit too far. Boris went down incredibly early, even though it felt like he was still there. He had those traps set up, and to Undying's dismay, they did sort of fall into the trap of going into the traps. They were really heading into TOOBASED territory a little bit more than they should have. But
Thanks,
still,
guys.
you get a
Thanks a lot.
5-man wipe, you get a lot of XP, even though you do lose both of your core heroes. It's slowing down 2-base just a little bit, but man, Flea has been so clutch with these Heavenly Graces. He's really been getting some of these very, very clutch dispels off and keeping the fight going for 2-base way longer than honestly it should have.
And that's, I think, one of the key points that we talked about. Coming out of the draft, it was really going to be about how well Fleet could protect some of these core heroes on this Omni Knight, and to this point, it's been fantastic. And as you were sort of alluding to before, that Blink Dagger pickup, normally,
Oh, mid.
oh god, you'd be a little bit concerned, but at this point, that durability and mobility is giving him so much more to work with as he will save Jupe there, but now he's going to be taken down himself. That is the solution. You don't want to deal with the Grace, then just sort of lasso up the Omni. The problem is, that is a nice kill, but it's lasso for a support. At the end of the day, that's really not as valuable as they need it to be. And now Monkeys, he's actually going to go. Rolling Thunder gets him in. He'll blink his way forward. They're getting onto Monkeys, but Saberlight is going to try and surge his teammate out of here. But look at that, the back and forth with that Rolling Thunder, just not giving Moonmeander any chance. Might as well take his hands off the keyboard, but he's actually not dead just yet. Pops the Carapace, falls back, tries to turn around for the stun. Not really going to connect, but his teammates are in here looking for Monkeys. Can they actually bring him down, though? Well, they're trying.
Yeah,
A little bit more damage they need. Can they catch up? Yes, they can. Okay. Brile and Tomato are in there, but look at that. I Annihilate with the Shackle again, but that's into the Chrono from Tomato. They're going to be able to lock the Wind Ranger down, and they don't get it in the duration of the Chrono. Now they might not get it at all. I Annihilate able to pop the BKB, turns around for another Shackle in onto the Darkseer. Jubei comes in with the Blast Off for the kill, and now Undying, they are just completely broken. This Assault has been shattered, and they need to fall back. Tomato's going to TP out. Everyone else will try to get away on foot. And it looks like they will pull back, but that was just maybe a step too far for them as they lose the follow-up fight.
And it really just feels that Moonmeander is so tanky with this Hood of Defiance and a Midas. He is going to really keep himself up. But again, it feels like now you're going to give up Roche to 2-base. They've made the call. They've made the plays. They forced him back and really just incredibly clutch on this Wind Ranger. Always able to get that Wind Run off right before Tomato goes for that Chronosphere. And again, it feels like Tomato needs to stop prioritizing this kill onto the wind. You need to be a little bit more patient. They didn't have any vision there, so he couldn't have known whether or not it was on cooldown. But it's these small little clutch plays coming in from Annihilate and Flee, the Shackles, the Purges that are really keeping these fights going. And Undying, they've got long cooldowns. If they lose any more fights convincingly on their side of the map where they have to expend that Chrono and Death Prophet ulti, we're going to see 2-base get aggressive for the first time.
And what a weird one here. I Annihilate actually the one to take the shard, so that Power Shot upgrade is online, but this is very rarely a play we see from the Wind Ranger. I feel like there probably was someone else you could have given that to. The problem is the other cores already have their shards. I don't know. Could have given it maybe to the Omni. What is... Actually, no, Techie's already has it.
The Hammer of Purity is... it's an interesting one, but not one that Flea probably wants to be in range. But yeah, everybody else, I think, already has their shard. And it isn't the worst, especially with techies. Maybe there is a situation where you get some cheeky kill. Ooh, he blinked over Dubu.
A little bit too far. Dubu, can he dance? Yes, he can. He's going to be okay. Monkey's, to be fair, not really going to go too far in there after sort of over-blinking the first time. But now you see a bit of a wraparound coming in through the middle lane.
Behind. If they find Flea first, that's going to be really bad for 2-based.
Can they actually get to him, though? They're not crossing the river just yet. And Saberlight, okay, Saberlight's just going to bail out and go for the sort of creep-cutting play instead. So... they're not really going to be able to commit for that. In fact, Brile just straight up TP top, so they're really not looking for the fight. However, Tomato's pushing out the bottom lane a bit, and this tier 2 doesn't have a whole lot of HP. Maybe they could make this play happen, but they do have to be a little bit cautious. 2-base could try to rotate heroes down here to stop them. Boris is kind of in the area, but I don't think he actually wants this fight. That's 3 enemy heroes that he'd be running into, so he is going to remain on that sort of opposing side of the river, and things have gotten a little bit strange here. We've effectively swapped sides for... most of these lineups, but...
Ooh, top. Brile.
Oh, Brile, okay. What is this? He's going to go for the lasso, but at the end of this... okay, yeah, there you go. He's going to go for the TP.
He's still dead.
Oh boy, he went for the TP. Probably should have gone for it at the start of the lasso. Waited maybe a little too long, and I Annihilate still has the damage to finish him off. So that is a pretty solid kill, and it's going to actually keep his teammates in a position to keep pushing down the middle lane. So tier 2 tower will be taken in addition to the death of Brile, and map control is going to become an issue for Undying. This sort of takes us back to the techies play. The further forward 2-base can sort of move, the further forward these mines are going to get out from Jubei.
And Tomato, he is making his way towards that Satanic, trying to be that tanky Void. But if he's not able to find these Chronos, if Two-Based are able to keep on finding this initiation first, it feels like Undying are struggling to find the tools to sort of kite it out. And while this is gem number 2 coming out from the Nyx Assassin, and they are still farming really well on all of their core heroes, it feels like this wind is starting to become a monster. There's a full Daedalus Honor already. Oh, monkeys.
Monkeys. Caught out in the jungle, just an unfortunate sort of maneuver from him, just as Undying were sort of moving in. Really not even looking for the kill there. That was more of a play for farm and for a push in the bottom lane, but they're able to get a bit of a freebie, and they do still get that tier 2 tower as well. So a nice play from Undying. They're not quite back to even just yet, but they continue making these sort of smart plays. They're just trying to sort of draw things out more and more, and as you said, Tomato trying to tank up a little bit. That Satanic is now complete. We see the MKB and the Scotty coming out after that. So durability and damage very much going to be the focus for this Faceless Void as we start transitioning into that sort of later scenario.
And it is a very difficult Pango game. Unless you're really just rolling Thunder on top of them, you can definitely just die. And Boris, oh.
Okay. Refraction charges are gone.
Oh, no.
BKB,
Nice.
though, nicely placed, but Flea is now going to get sucked into the normal punch, actually locking him down a little bit further, as they do bring him down, but Flea's sacrifice gets the TA away from the fight. So Boris at least makes it back home, but you're down 2 heroes for about 30 to 40 seconds here. This could be a window for Undying. The problem is, none of the waves are really pushing out spectacularly for them. Bottom's probably the best, but they just took that tier 2 tower, so they're not really going to be able to push onto the high ground in the next 30 seconds. So it's a nice kill, but it's going to be more of a farming window as opposed to any sort of actual objectives here.
And getting Boris out, really the only thing that matters, as he makes really fast heed towards that nullifier. And once he gets that, you need to be so cautious. If you're Bryle, you were already sort of dying to this wind. And while this wasn't the most aggressive Aegis, we definitely are not going to see Two-Based making their way towards the high ground unless Undying give up a crazy wipe. It does feel like they're matching the pace of Undying, even though Undying are still getting some of those scary items. There's going to be an MKB coming out on Tomato next. He still has that Satanic, and there really isn't a great solution to that just yet, aside from just Flea always having that Guardian Angel. And they have struggled to get onto Flea. Unless Flea suicides to try and save one of his cores, there really hasn't been a situation where he's been caught out, even though he does have those 9 deaths. So I feel like there still is a lot of shots here for Two-Based, even though they're not playing with buybacks. I don't think they're all buying out still. They're just playing with their backs against the wall, their hair in the wind. It feels like it's just such a Two-Based game.
Yeah, let's see. Jubei still holding on to some money for buyback, the Wind Ranger as well, but Jubei... Oh boy, Mines down in the middle lane.
Oh,
Saberlight
Bryle.
and Moonmander are both dead. Bryle?
Haste.
Okay, he will be able to save that gem, but got a little bit dicey. Haste Rune does get him in and out, though, but that's still 2 literally free kills. No one even had to be in the area. Jubei just sort of sets that one up with the mines, and now if you're Undying, this is a bit of a problem. Both of those heroes have buyback, but 2 heroes down is going to lead into a push from Two-Base as well as going to say, but with Flea getting picked off here, that's going to take a little bit of the wind out of their sails. Annihilate is already starting to back himself away, but Lasso is down, so if there's an opening here, maybe Two-Base could catch someone from Undying pushing out of the base, but it doesn't look like Undying are really going to be sort of sending anyone out there by themselves. Tomato and Dubu are pushing forward together, while Bryle remains in the base. So it was a nice 2-piece there for Jubei, but they're not really going to be able to turn it into much of anything afterwards.
And really, it's just the respect that Two-Base do have to allot Undying. If they do push into that triangle, if they do get a little bit too aggressive, they can definitely be punished. In their Flea, just a small lapse in his positioning, trying to walk up, maybe get a ward down, seeing if Annihilate would be able to find that jump. And I think there is an item, yeah, Winkin Sphere in the works for that wind, and then you are going to have sort of that save play, and that's when Bryle needs to be so careful about his initiation. He does have that Ghost Scepter, but if he has to pop the BKB, you can't use it. It's sort of a counterintuitive items together, but it definitely feels like you need both for each situation. And you are still farming on Tomato. Tomato has been pretty much uncontested. It's just really all of his deaths have been to Jubei, I think. I don't think he has been killed by a single other hero, or except that one time by Annihilate. And he's a little bit scared, I think. You don't really want to show he's been staying where he knows the techies hasn't been. And that just means his teammates, like we saw mid, they have to be forced into that Techie's territory just a little bit. Oh, monkeys? Close.
Blinked out just in time. Actually, I had to use the swashbuckle and the shield crash there as well, but you will be able to create that separation. Meanwhile, Jubei's got his hands on a bloodstone at this point, so the Techies is really starting to get himself up there. You look at his net worth, it's still behind all the cores for Undying, but the fact that he's getting even remotely close at this point is very, very concerning if you're Undying. So the longer this game goes on, the more Jubei's going to try and sort of set up more control as Bryle. Okay. Push forward with the Firefly there. Not actually going to commit fully. He did have the lasso, but doesn't really see any sort of immediate target to jump in on. And at that point, it was probably not going to be worth the risk either way. So Undying will back off, but they're still hanging out with 5 here in the middle lane. I don't know if this is a smoke setup or if they just want to move together, but it's a little bit weird at this stage, although Saberlight is now going to bail out. He'll TP back to deal with this pushing creep wave.
And really, it's just the call. Whenever you see the Omni Knight top, oh yeah, top.
That tower is going down. I Annihilate just chipping away at it, but now
doesn't get lassoed.
Got to get himself away. Monkeys, look at that, pushing in. Rolling Thunder connecting onto about 2 or 3. And can they turn this fight? Jubei, well, Jubei. That's not great. He's hit up by the lasso, going to get pulled back. BKBs were really already activated, so the silence in from that blast off doesn't actually pay off for him. That's unfortunate, but getting Jubei out of there at least allows the rest of the lineup to get away safely. I Annihilate could have been caught out, but he is able to escape thanks to the sacrifice from his teammate. So silver linings there if you're 2-based, and also worth pointing out, that was a lot of damage onto the tier 3 tower for just Wind Ranger with their focus fire. So if you're Undying, you do have to sort of pay attention to that split push play. The next time around, that tower is going down.
Oh, he's walking by. If he sees him in the wave, the wind might go for it. He might immediately turn. Yeah.
BKB is back up, though, so if Bryle has the fast reactions, he may be able to keep himself safe, but... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's out. Still force.
Another BKB charge. That's down to 6 seconds now. So, Annihilate gets in, forces out a BKB, puts it on cooldown, doesn't really have to commit too much himself. So, no kill, but resources being sort of drained away from that Undying lineup, that's going to count for something, and Annihilate is going to clear out that creep wave as well, so they can keep on pushing through that top lane, but now they want Roshan. Aegis Cheese and the Refresher Shard all available for them, so if they can get this, then Undying are going to be in an even weaker position going into this next fight, and it's already gone. There's nothing that Undying we're going to be able to do there. I Annihilate will take the Aegis. Cheese is now on both himself and the Templar Assassin, while the Shard goes into Flea's hands.
Unfortunately, there's no Ags. I think you would have loved that on the Omni Knight or the Wind at this point, but still feels pretty good. And yeah, they had all those mines stacked bottom. They didn't have a sign, unfortunately, and Jubei does need to be careful. Oh yeah, he got dragged.
Pulled back in, normal punch hits him up as well, and the lasso's even going to be deployed, so this Techies really doesn't have anywhere to go. He could try for the suicide play here at the very end, but yeah, he is still going to be taken down. The Guardian Angel, though, was popped by Flea, and now the reinforcements have arrived. I Annihilate in there looking for Tomato. Tomato tries to time walk away, but he's going to be forced to use the Chrono. But he just ran into Monkeys, so he actually sort of stuns himself up for a bit. But they are still going to be able to get I Annihilate, but that is the Aegis. He's back up for a second life here. He doesn't have the BKB, though, so he's got to be a little bit careful. The Lincolns will be immediately popped. The silence coming in from Dubu as well into another punch onto Monkeys forever, but the Grace comes through. The heal will be there. Jubei bought back, goes in for that blast off, silencing up a couple of heroes here as the Shackle will also be latching them together. This fight really just starting to get so, well, uncoordinated to a certain degree. Absolute chaos in the middle of what's effectively a mosh pit there, but it looks like everyone is eventually able to back away. Monkeys not backing away after all. He's going to get caught out. There's going to be the back into that punch, and Monkeys is down. 70 seconds on the sideline. He doesn't have money for buyback, but I Annihilate pushing it onto Tomato once again. They hit him with the Nullifier here as well. Do they really want to chase? Trap goes down. Shackle Shot will latch. Dubu's going to get stunned up, and they should be able to take him down as Boris will get the kill. So it's not the kill onto Tomato that they were initially looking for, but it is going to be a big one. That DP is dead for over 100 seconds unless Dubu's willing to buy back.
And it's unfortunate you did force out. Oh, he got him!
Whoa. Did he just global?
Yep.
It's simply
the snipe of all snipes. He's on the other side of the map, but he still gets hit, and he's in that 13% threshold. So he's taken down.
You just don't think about it. You don't have that A in disc either. I can't believe that just worked. And he does need to be careful mid. They could definitely make a play onto him. Ooh, he missed
the punch. He does get the vac back in, though, into the impale, but by this point, reinforcements are coming. Jube's going to try and get in here. The blast off is being channeled out. He is going to go in for it, and that is going to be enough to take down Moonmeander. Jube, though, should be falling himself, but Annihilate is falling back, looking to sort of reset this fight. Flea, even in there as well, so actually no one is going to die on the side of TOOBASED, and they want to go in. They've got Tomato silenced up, slowed as well. Can Boris get into the fight? Not just yet, and not really at all, actually. His Blink Dagger's still on cooldown for a few more seconds, so Tomato will fall back, but that's like 2 or 3 breaks in a row. They get the first snipe with the power shot onto the Batrider. They don't lose Annihilate there where they probably should have, and they're able to find one more kill, and now they're backing onto the high ground, looking for the tier 3 tower mid. The focus fire is not doing any damage yet, as that glyph is through, but once it's gone, yeah, tower's just annihilated, and I do believe these racks should be taken down fairly quickly as well.
And you don't want to buy back. I don't think it's going to be 2 racks necessarily. They are staying around for that mids. It could just be 2 racks at a tier 3 tower, but it is absolutely free. You had to use that wall before. You do have Chrono come up in 5 seconds. If they stay just a little bit too long, they stayed for both racks, so this is a little bit risky.
Tomato, does he go for it? Not onto Annihilate, but they're in onto Monkeys, but there's that Aeon Disc into the roll-up, into... No, not into the Rolling Thunder. He gets lassoed instead, so Bryle will be able to lock him down, and Monkeys... well, we'll see whether he can get out. That's a very, very horribly timed pause, but players were apparently lagging out.
And really just the laugh, the silence across the map. Unfortunately, Tomato didn't have the vision. Annihilate very simply just TP'd on his high ground. And now you have these items queued up. There's no way. Oh, Monkeys, he doesn't have TP, but he's going to make him work for this.
I think he's getting out. He's got the swashbuckle. Let's see.
There's no
Flame
way.
break. He blinked out.
Oh, come on. He's made it to Flea.
He's a magician. They can't catch him. Flea's going to hit him up with a Grace just in case, and he's gone. There's no way to catch up. Monkeys just dipping, diving, dodging, dancing his way out from 3 heroes. And he gets out pretty much scot-free.
And I really do wish we had a Blink Dagger or a Yule Scepter or something coming out from Moonmeander. I feel like he's been such a critical hero for Undying and finding these pickoffs, but they've really pretty much solely relied on Saberlight for that sort of buy disable. And I think it's really to their detriment. There have been many situations where I feel like you get the Yules, you force out a BKB where you don't need to, you force Flea to maybe wait 2.75 seconds. He can't save somebody instantly, and without those disables, I think that they're getting away with a little bit too much on the 2-base side. And I think they were, yeah, they had to use that Aegis mid, but now Aeon Disc going to be completed by Annihilate. We don't usually see the Faceless Void going back for that Nullifier unless there's a really accentuating circumstance. And we see he's got an Aeon Disc on his own. We've got 3, 4 Aeon Discs, 5 Aeon Discs being built all across the map. But the Techies is so adept at popping those for free, and that's where 2-based, again, it feels like they can just get aggressive whenever they want. This game is absolutely even at this point in time.
Wait, hold up. Did Bryle... He did, okay. That's a weird one. Don't really see that too much on the Batrider. That is a 44-minute Blink Dagger purchase for the Bat. So he'd been sort of ignoring it. Oh, ignoring it all game long. He does try to reveal it there, but Boris is able to get himself out just in the nick of time. So Batrider does have that sort of extended maneuverability. That is something that 2-based will at least have to show a little bit of respect to moving forward. But if Boris has the sort of reaction times like that, then I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal for them to try and either avoid it entirely or at least rush reinforcements in to try and turn the fight as those... Okay, lasso play will come in. They've caught out Jube, but there's going to be the Grace into the Chrono, though. But Tomato, where's the damage here? They're just not hitting hard enough. Boris is actually in onto the backline, providing a little bit of assistance and causing a rather sizable distraction. But Jube is still dropping. He is going to be able to pop the cheese, though, but I don't think that's going to be enough to save him. It's going to delay the death, but it can't prevent it. So Jube does go down, but... Oh, that was Chrono, that was Lasso, that was the wall thrown down. The Exorcism's going right now on Dubu, so they do commit quite a bit for just 1 kill, but they are trying to get onto Flea now. I don't know if they catch him. He's so damn fast right now.
The Ninja Gear.
Oh, nice back.
Saberlight.
Saberlight's going to force him back in. There's going to be the punch as well, and Flea will be taken down. So he was fast, and that Ninja Gear very nearly got him out, but they're able to find 2, but to the previous point, you commit just about every single ult you had there. You get the 2 supports. That's nice, but it's just the 2 supports. The cores are still looking to make moves as Tomato will get caught out here in that middle lane. But Bryle, in with the lasso, they've caught out Boris. Can they bring him down? Yes, they can. They've got more than enough damage there. Boris will fall. Annihilate now is going to be forced to fall back as well. And that is going to sort of make things significantly better for Undying. The first two... Okay.
Ooh,
Dubu picked off there by the mines as Jubei will get that one. But Saberlight wanted to keep on chasing. He did get off the vacuum. The problem is the Shackle locks him down before he can follow it up. But Undying, they do get the tier 2 tower. So slowly but surely, they're beginning to work their way back in. And I say slowly, but that net worth lead went from 10k to TOOBASED to now just under 4,000.
And it's really just the vision. Undying are so good at getting that structure right before they make these big plays, and it's just Boris showing for a second too long. He immediately gets punished for it. And oh, is Bryle gonna get punished here? Doesn't latch.
Shackle won't latch. Ghost Scepter comes through. Annihilate, though, is going to have another shot at it. The Shackle's back up, so they're going to go in, and Monkeys is here for the extra lockdown as well, but the BKB will be activated. Okay. The lasso comes through. Maybe they can turn this. Tomato's into the fight. Moon Meander's here as well, but Shackle will land. At this point, though, Annihilate no longer has that BKB to protect himself. Flea, though, tries to get in there for the heal, but it's not going to be enough. Annihilate will go down. Monkeys now going to get that Aeon Disc popped. He is trying to get himself out, but I don't think he's making it. He's just getting bashed to hell. Eul Scepter will be popped defensively, but it's still not going to be enough, as Tomato will pick him off, and Undying, they're looking to do this. They're actually pushing their way forward. There are still buybacks on all of those dead heroes for TOOBASED, though.
Ooh,
so they might want to be a little bit careful pushing up. But Moon, he's just going to march his way forward. He's got another gem, so he is trying to sort of scout the way for his teammates. But rather than go bot, they're actually going to rotate their way mid, where they're assuming there are fewer mines. And that assumption is correct. There's really nothing set up in this lane. We do see a couple of mines further back, but if Undying are just looking for the objectives, they're not going to be running into that trap.
And we see the sign bottom. That's why they make the rotation to mid. And ooh, nice blink, but yeah, they want something, but there's a Chronosphere. If they're able to get on Monkeys, ooh.
Gets rooted up. Actually, gets rooted up twice there, so that is going to prevent him from really getting it out. The silence even deployed onto him as well. So no Chrono, but his teammates were able to finish off that tower. And now, oh, Boris. Okay. Good play in from Flea with the Heavenly Grace. Now Monkeys pushing in with the Rolling Thunder. They're going to try and turn this. Tomato's dropping low. Can he time walk his way out of this one? No. He's going to get stunned up again, but still not dead. Time walk gets him out. He will survive. That was about as close as it could have possibly gotten. But the Faceless will fall back. Unfortunately for Undying, they're not able to take the racks, but they got the tier 3 tower, and no one is dead on their side. While TOOBASED are still waiting on that Wind Ranger. They don't want to commit Annihilate's buyback, so they're just going to try and wait it out. But the racks are still dropping. Undying are starting to regroup and push back in, so this could get a little bit dicey. Tomato, he's thinking about it. Chrono will go down. They've caught out Flea. Can they bring him down, though? No, the disarm actually in there from the lucky shot prevents him from immediately going after the kill, but they do get Monkeys. His buyback had just been used, so he's gone for about 2 minutes. The middle lane of racks will fall, but Annihilate, he's back in the fight. Can he make something happen here? Shackle coming through. Not going to latch, though, but Moon Meander still going to get hit up by the Nullifier. They even throw down that remote mine onto him, but they don't get the kill, and now Tomato is back into the fight. They hit him up with the vacuum as well at the exact same time, so Tomato is going to be able to get off that proc on the time lock onto all of them, and this fight is looking really rough for them. They do bring down Bryle, but Boris forced to fall back. Guardian Angel was committed, so that is going to help keep him alive, but this fight really getting kind of chippy. It's getting into a mad scramble for both teams, and yeah, once that cohesion sort of starts to fall apart, that is the time for both sides to try and back themselves away.
And Undying, they just run out of an objective to have, so they cut their losses. They're not going to deal with this anymore. It would have been a much different game if Jubei was just a little bit closer. If he had that chain onto Tomato, he would have definitely died on that Void. And now Roche respawning Refresher Shard and Ags. He did build an Ags on the Faceless Void himself, and I don't think they're going to feel confident enough to maybe post up before they do get that gem over here. I think Dubu does have a sentry down, but still, now they do need to be careful. There is a sign up, or no, there isn't actually a sign up, but we do have the 25 now on Jubei, so mines are starting to move.
Oh god, we have reached that point. We are 50 minutes in, and the migrating mines have now made their appearance. So here we go. They're all just, god, it looks so silly. They're all just slowly moving their way forward. Or at least that group of them are. The rest are sort of just sticking where they've been originally placed. But they can move quite a bit over here, and Undying, they've got to be careful. Jubei, okay. Jumps in for the blast off. The Vac, though, is going to pull him into the wall, but now those mines are coming into play. They're going to try and lock down some heroes, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Jubei is still falling. He goes down. Boris, though, is going to have to try and get himself away. That Hurricane Pike will create the separation, and it looks like for now he will be safe. Meanwhile, Jubei actually did buy back. He's looking to rejoin his teammates here, but at this stage, I don't think there's really a fight to push back into. Undying are not going to fully commit for the pit here, so the stalemate will continue. The buyback from Jubei is probably going to be enough to sort of intimidate them, but they are looking for it. They may go back in. Tomato's
Yeah,
sort of thinking
and
about it.
they have the Death Prophet ultimate. They have everything. Oh, Lasso.
Lasso in onto Flea.
We didn't BKB.
Okay, the Omni's going to be able to buy back, though, so he can TP himself in. Monkeys, meanwhile, going in with the Rolling Thunder on the back line, using the roll-up here to change direction rapidly as he's trying to keep Tomato out of the fight for as long as possible, but they need to regroup. Annihilate is going to pop the BKB. Boris coming in here as well. They're going to be able to take down Saberlight, or maybe not. Saberlight still not dead yet. The meld hit isn't enough to bring him down, and now Tomato is back into the fight, but he doesn't have the mana for Chrono. Now he's got it. Will throw it down onto the Wind Ranger, but the Yule Scepter will throw him up into the air. The Guardian Angel will be deployed as well. Jubei, though, gets taken down a second time, but Annihilate is in there with the Shackle Shot connecting onto Dubu. They'll take down the DP first, but now they need more. They're going to try to focus in onto Tomato, but he does still have the mana for the time lock. He'll push his way forward, getting the proc in onto the Wind Ranger, but he jumps directly into the Shackle Shot, and he's just dead. Boris will take him down. I don't know about that one. I don't think he realized it was more than just the Wind Ranger in that position, but they had to have had vision there. I'm not entirely sure what went down, but that's a big mistake from Tomato. He does have buyback, but at this point, I don't think he's going to get there in time. Okay,
well, they need to get there fast.
He's going to go for it, and that buyback actually does push them away. All right. I don't know if TOOBASED had to back off of that. I think they could have taken it in time, and they did have to remember there's no Chrono on Tomato, but they're going to play it safe, back themselves away, and now we've got a bit of a stalemate developing here, although Tomato, he wants to break that stalemate. He pushes directly into the pit, but now, well, that power shot is going to scout him out.
The only hero that does back is Boris. He does have that psionic projection. He is able to traverse the map very quickly, and they need to be so careful.
Monkeys jumps away just in time. The defusal did slow him down, but he is going to be able to stay safe, but now Undying, but they're still pushing into the pit. Moon. What a stun. Moon Meander onto 2. The Lincoln Sphere will be popped. Tomato's going to make his way forward. The Vacuum is going to come down as well. The wall is maybe a little bit late, but Monkeys is still sort of out of this fight. Very little HP. His teammates, though, trying to push forward. Annihilate trying to get onto Brile. They will be able to take him down first, but they have to sacrifice Flea in exchange, and now Annihilate needs to back away. Very little mana left to work with here, as Undying are going to try to track him down. Can they get onto him? Yes, they can. Impale comes out, stunning him up. The Flame breaks there as well into the normal punch. Annihilate taken down, buying back, though, immediately, as Boris will jump in onto the backline. He takes down Dubu. Now he has to wait, though, for his reinforcements to arrive. As Annihilate will push back in with the Wind Run, but Tomato jumping forward. He is going to get shackled up, though, but at this point, they really can't afford to take this fight. They just have to get away, but the Flame Break is there again. Annihilate can't get himself out. He's going to get stunned up and taken down. That's his buyback. He's down for 2 minutes, and now Boris, he's the only one alive. There is literally no one here to help him. Jubei's back up in 10, but that's not going to matter. At this point, Undying can go straight back into the Roche Pit, and they will be able to take it down. Aegis Cheese, Refresher Shard, and the Aghanim's Blessing all going to be going their way, and that might just be the determining factor here in this game.
And just Saberlight and Moonmeander are carrying their team right now so hard, and Annihilate, he's stuck on the wrong target. Brile, he still had that buyback, he was able to get it out, and now you've got a Chronosphere up in 14 seconds, you have that Refresher Shard as well, an Aegis on Tomato, and no wind for 85 seconds. Jubei and Boris, they're the only defenders of the base. They know that there's nothing. Boris might have to just die twice. It feels like TOOBASED, they might have sort of blown the top on this game. I think Undying might just be able to go down mid and end.
And the thing here, I mean, Tomato, he's got himself the Refresher Shard, so he could just double Chrono this out, and at that point, I don't know what you do. If you're Boris, you're going to eat one death. As you said, he might just have to die twice here. He does have the buyback. Whoa, okay, that lasso connecting from quite a ways out, but they do get the hit. Boris is going to get locked down. He'll fall. Buyback is going to come through. Monkeys, though, will be respawning now as well, and Flea's back up in 5. So these tier 4 towers won't go down quite fast enough. There will still be one final attempt for TOOBASED, but if they don't turn the fight right here and now, it's pretty much going to be over. And Tomato, he knows it. He's pushing his way forward, looking for that tower, but now looking for the jump in. Doesn't go for the Chrono, though. He is going to hold that. But he's back in onto the tier 4s. TOOBASED, they've really got to sort of pick their moment here as Tomato, once again, trying to fake him out. This is getting tense. Monkeys, though, can't go too far. You've got to be very, very careful here as he is going to start sort of rolling his way back towards the rest of the lineup. But the siege continues. Tier 4 towers continue to drop low as Tomato... Well, okay, he's not hitting the towers himself. He's actually going after a couple of those huts. But now he'll turn his attention onto the tier 4s.
25 on the Death Prophet as well. Jubei, they were able to pop that, but now Saberlight.
Jubei, no. Gotta get himself caught, and there it is. The Chrono connecting onto 3. They get the lasso down as well onto Jubei. They'll take him out. The double Chrono will now be deployed, and Flea is still in there, actually. The second Chrono doesn't hit him, so he is going to be able to throw down the Guardian Angel. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. Boris is still dropping. He's dead. No, that's both of his lives taken away. Annihilate is going to go down as well, and yeah, that's got to be the end of it. Undying able to slowly but surely sort of overcome a bit of a deficit, and the Techies line up on the other side as the GG will be called, and Undying, well, showing a lot of sort of grit and fortitude on that one. It was not easy for them. They were down by as much as I think 10 or 12,000 at one point, but they do pull it back and they get themselves the win to open up this series.
And it felt like Undying, it was almost assured that they were going to win, but still, TOOBASED, they had their shots, they had their plays, and it really felt like they had something going for them. They got 2 racks. It felt like they were able to take a large sum of those fights, and really the standout performance coming in from Iannihilate. He was carrying the game so hard, putting it on his back, really getting his team through that sort of mid-game lull. And with Jubei just putting the pressure on with the techies, sure, you have to get lucky here and there, but those 3 or 4 man silences really just carrying the team as well. I felt like there were so many really powerful individual performances coming from the TOOBASED side, and that's how they got as far as they did. But at the end of the day, you're playing versus this Void. He's going to get that Titanic. He's going to get that Scotty. He's going to take you to that nitty-gritty 45-50 minute mark, and really, it was just the slight misplays around that 4th Roshan. Their BKBs were so low. They're still playing versus a Nyx Assassin. They're still playing versus Saberlight. And Saberlight really held down the fort for the Undying side. He was really the player they needed in that game.
Absolutely sort of crucial for them. And you can see Undying, a lot of the sort of kill count being sort of spread out pretty evenly. 3 heroes in double digits. Braille very nearly got there with 9 on his bat. So Undying, fantastic performances from individuals, obviously, fantastic team play, and as you said, it really did seem like at a certain point they were going to be able to overcome the techies almost no matter what. But if you're TOOBASED, it's a pretty solid fight coming out for them, considering they did start off the draft with a first pick techies play. So got to give them some credit. They certainly gave us something entertaining, and they gave Undying a run for their money. But at the end of the day, Undying will get the win in game 1. They now take sole possession, I believe, of first place, as I think they were tied up with 4 Zoomers coming into the day. So they are back on top in that first place spot, looking now to further increase their lead, as game 2 between these 2 squads should be coming up. Don't know if TOOBASED are going to throw anything like the techies our way again, but if game 2 is anything like game 1, we should certainly be in for a very fun match, if nothing else. So we are going to be pushing into that second game. Got to take a quick break here for some ads and to get the teams ready for that second match. So we'll be back in just a little bit with game 2 between Undying and Simply TOOBASED.